Hey, it's Soul with the final episode of Horrific Visions for Normal People, a series where I took the classes in WoW, all of which I have almost no experience with, gear them with only stuff from Outdoor World content and Horrific Visions, and then complete a 5-chest run. In this case, we're completing a 5-mask run in Stormwind using a Retribution Paladin. I think it's worth making a point that what makes this series special isn't so much that I'm demonstrating high skill, in fact you're going to see a lot of bad decision making on my part, but that I'm learning from the mistakes that I made along the way. Here are a few clips from the numerous attempts that I made before the successful run that I took just earlier today. Ah! Oh shit! No, come on. Oh, I used my extra life on Mind Flays of all goddamn things. Did it go off? Did I use my extra life? I used my extra life already. Ugh. Not enough damage. Oh shit! Oh, hot foot right into the thing! 52, not enough. Oh shit, extra life. God! What? What? Oh, fuck, stunned. What? Oh, God. Come on. Jesus. Oh, God, I'm all... Oh, my God. Fucking again, Soul. You dumb piece of shit. Lessons learned, perseverance, and a little bit of luck is what got me through this 5-mask run. My rep paladin is running an item level of 445 with no emphasis on Azeroth traits. He has 4 corruptions, including 2 little tentacles, a haste proc, and a mastery boost. No echoes were used by corruptions. He's running a cloak level of 15 with no additional malefic cores used, and his neck level is 86. He's using Purification Protocol as his primary essence with Condensed Life Force, Breath of the Dying, and Vision of Perfection as minors, all of which were bought with Echoes of Ny'alotha. For talent, he's running Zeal, Fires of Justice, Fist of Justice, Wake of Ashes, Cavalier, Selfless Healer, and Divine Purpose. For research, he has all the talents filled out except for the sanity bonuses up on the second tier of the tree. He also has every buff and consumable at his disposal. And let the final run begin. Holy moly. So, this was quite a run. Yeah, it was a hell of a run. I'm still kind of shaking from it. I'm recording this maybe about like half an hour after I stopped the stream. So, well, here we go. I get started by first popping my final invisibility potion so I can get past this first pack. And then I want to, of course, take a look at whatever the heck potion is bad so I can identify what's good. And then I can really get started by opening it up kind of big, get a couple of good hits in on these rift walkers before I kind of start getting away, because what I want to try to do is utilize Purification Protocol as best as I can by grabbing a somewhat larger packs and then unleashing the rain of hell on these dudes. I don't even know what to call it. This is like the first time that I really started using it. So I had a gift proc right over here. Thank goodness. And I really had to rely on gift procs and time them well enough so that way I can get some extra DPS out, or otherwise try to save time on, save some of my corruption, my sanity, I'm sorry. But one thing that I noticed with doing a 5-mask run at this gear level is that, boy, I'm squishy. Oh boy, like, as you might have seen earlier in the footage here, like, I was just dying more than anything. It wasn't so much sanity resistance that I was taking, it was just me kicking my own butt, either by taking too long to kill ads or getting my butt kicked by repel. There were a few moments where I even had to like bubble for just that because I was just having those kinds of problems with it. Even packs like these and having to deal with it, I'm like, okay, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to use another Purification Protocol on this because, yeah. And it came to a point where I have to pretty much squeeze out every cooldown that I have, even though I would say that I wasn't being very efficient on that either. I could have done better. I think I always could do better, but I think I was really pushing my personal skill level with trying to get this run completed. So we're off to these gnomes, and my gift hasn't procced in a little bit, and I prefer it to, of course, not go off, so that way I can do a nice big healthy pull later on once I go into the Dwarven district. Unfortunately, there goes Gift, which kind of sucks, but I gotta, I really gotta make the most of it. I accidentally did not eat the kebab before going back in, so I was like, wait a minute, my thing's not going. Okay, I don't want my thing to be full yet, so off I go. I hop out really quick so I can take in this kebab. Yay! So I noticed that, of course, doing these slower pulls can be extremely risky, and I ended up using a lot more sanity than I would just from fighting, and not so much taking sanity damage from certain things. And of course, that comes with just having this lower item level. Thankfully, I happened to get a weapon. So I do kind of a half pull here. I pull all these guys, use Purification Protocol to clean them all up, so that way these guys are much more manageable. As always, I missed that archer over there. That thing is just kind of, yeah, there we go. It's just kind of doing its thing, so I take care of that thing separately. Not a big deal. I don't really lose that much time. I mean, ultimately, as long as I leave this place with a full sanity bar, that's really all that matters. What I do with my time inside doesn't really matter. It's how I leave that, that determines the rest of the pace of this run. And then, of course, there's like whatever cooldowns I may happen to have available or unavailable at the time. So since Gift had procced, I'm just going to go over and take on this pack here, which I don't know how I let this pack kill me before. I think things just felt awkward between having to try and hit all these guys at once, and I was just doing a really awful job of line of sighting these guys, because I'm like, okay, I'll run over this, and then I'll hop over this. And so Gift goes off right here, and then I'm like, all right, screw it, here's my chance. And so I go straight for the elites, pop some cooldowns, whatever I happen to have, use Purification Protocol, and then just kind of go ham and hope that the other ads happen to get hit by it, which the big guy over here does. The archers do not, unfortunately. They're just they're just free firing for the most part. But I put most of my concentration on these guys and not so much the archer. I eventually drag them over so I can bring them all down at once and try to get some extra DPS in, because I really don't want to lose too much time. One big factor is how many vials will I eventually run into, because those vials of 100 sanity are a huge deal. They make a big difference on my overall performance and, the pacing that I have here. And I believe that ultimately, I didn't get a lot of vial action going on for this final run. So as you can see, the elite is still alive. I am dog slow on this thing. But I'm trying to conserve cooldowns a little bit. And again, one of the big lessons that I ought to learn from this is to not be so conservative. With the cooldowns. I mean, cooldowns only have a worth as long as they're being used, right? So that's one big takeaway for me. So after trying to navigate through this thing, just gotta go around. There we go. And then off we go. We can resume our dark work, but not until kissing the pink guy. So after a while, I think this was my 6th or my 7th run this day, and I was pretty tired. I was pretty tired after a while. I mean, it's kind of a typical, hey, you have a good start, and then afterwards things just kind of fall off. You start to underperform and all that. So I had Purification Protocol going so I can clear these guys out quickly. I also had Gift to stop the clock. And you can see that my sanity is looking pretty good. I'm kind of on schedule to be at almost full sanity by the time I take out the elite over here, which is good. So I'm doing okay on time. And like I said, what matters most is how you leave the area and not so much what you're doing inside. Unless you're using lots of cooldowns and other such things. But why repeat myself? I'm going to repeat myself. What am I talking about? So anyway, sanity is looking pretty good. 3 orbs. Time for this guy to come out. Plan here is to just pop cooldowns, blow this guy up really quick. So here we go. I use a cooldown pot, pop wings, and then I start going ham. One thing I never really figured out is a proper rotation. I couldn't really come away with anything that felt super comfortable. I think I improved on my ability to use Blade of Justice more efficiently. but I still don't think I'm like 100%. I don't think I'm 75% on top of it. But I do get a lot of good crits in. This guy goes down pretty fast. Sanity bar is full. And then I go, and now for this hard, really hard thing, tumors. I don't know why I was like struggling really hard. Like I didn't realize just how hard these tumors hit if you are just standing in those zones. So the lesson learned from this was to, unless I have like a Divine Storm proc ready to go and I have gift or something going, I'm just going to like kind of, take it slow. So here I was just about to go for the elite and I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to waste a few precious seconds waiting for it to be active. So I might as well go ahead and take on these light hunters first and go for like a normal routine of grabbing these guys, using protocol to wear them all down, and then make sure that I control the informants first. I've noticed that there's like so many places where one big mistake can equate to so much lost HP, and I gotta thank Ghastly Goulash for getting me through this one. I think without it I would have died a lot of times over, many times over. And that this successful run, or any of these runs, wouldn't have been possible without Ghastly Goulash. So I'm wearing these guys down. The big guys lasting a little bit longer than I would have liked. I'm lacking on crits and other nice, strong hits. I happen to have a haste enchant on my weapon, I believe, because I didn't have a critical strike one on hand. And I don't even know if that's the good one to use, but I think crit would have been a nice thing to have for this fight. So anyway, we're taking on this one. I'm trying to get away from the Blade Flourish as quickly as possible, and I'm dealing with Haunting Shadows and Leaden Foot. Leaden Foot is what I was really hoping I wouldn't deal with this week, but of course that's what Blizzard decided to give us, because that's how it goes. So I handled this lady the same way that I always do. Just hit her, get out of the way of the Roaring Blast, and try to run out early so I don't take any extra ticks of Blade Flourish. There you saw one successful dodge. Go me. But now I have both Gift Prockin and I had my fun little Figment come out too. So I want to try and take advantage of this right here and grab these 2 packs, knowing that the Light Hunter is going to come out and slow me down. If I overpulled and I grabbed the Executioner as well as the Informant, then it would have been a much riskier pull. There were plenty of moments where I'm like popping cooldowns, using Divine Shield or Blessing of Protection or other such things to get out of that damage. But I decided to take it a little bit slower this time, because I'm scared. I'm fighting these guys like truly frightened that I won't be able to handle this. And here's something that I discovered kind of all of a sudden. So when I pulled these mobs, I didn't use any AoE, and it turned out that the Executioner was just going for Alleria like the whole time. So I'm like, oh, sweet. So while the Executioner and Alleria are having a dance over there, I'm just going to take on the more dangerous mobs, the Informants, of course. The other mobs, of course, they slow you down. They cause lots of trouble as well. But the fact that I didn't have to worry about the Executioner at all was sweet. And then you saw those guys get annihilated. Thank goodness. That saved me a little bit of time. And so I just concentrated on the Executioner here. Wipe his butt out. Gift procs. And so I go for the big guy over here. So this was a nice little chain reaction of good fortune, thankfully. And I just need to make sure that I don't waste the opportunity that this luck gave me. So I try to move away from the appendages right before they go off. The Blight Eruption, unfortunately, can't really do much about. I know that I just don't have the DPS to take this guy out early enough. And I realized from previous runs that, boy, that thing hits really hard. About 100k damage or so. And it turned out to be like fatal damage from earlier runs, and which was really unfortunate. But you can see here I'm really struggling here as well. I had the extra Light Hunter on me, which I didn't anticipate. I thought that I took it out, but I guess I think it's just because of Gift. I got excited and I was like, all right, dude, let's do this. And I thought I'd be able to handle it. And it turned out I had to pop Divine Shield to get out of it. But we were able to get through. We're moving on, taking on this pack here. I open up with a Purification Protocol to wear all of them down and maybe get a little bit lucky, which I don't. So instead, I take out the informant, start AoEing these guys down, and try to focus on the executioner, but do a really bad job of it. Executioner is the last man standing. And in this case, as a rep paladin, the best thing that I could that I could do would be to either use Blessing of Protection or to just stun it whenever I can and try to take him out. So the Figment just came out. And unfortunately, because of the amount of sanity that I have left, which isn't a whole lot, I decided to kebab, which was a mistake because I did not wait for Haunting Shadows to go off. So, well, that was a big mistake. I ended up having to use an orb, and then I pull Shaw, and then it's like, all right, let's do this. Please stop hitting Valeria, dude. You know, I think earlier I might have said Alleria a number of times. And if I did, whoops. Sorry about that. So anyway, we're going to town. After he does his disappearing act one time, when Shaw comes back, I'll just unload, get in as much damage as I can before he does his second disappearing act. There we go. Here's the second one. Of course, keep my back to him and just kind of sidestep right before, and kind of try to keep an eye on the Eyes of Chaos, so that way I can know when it is that I'm about to move. Thankfully, I'm not dealing with split personality. That would have made things even more troublesome for me. I would have been losing my mind for sure. So here I'm like barely getting away from his disappearing act. That third swirl was like really close to nailing me, and that would have been so bad given how much sanity I still have left. I'm gonna be at a full sanity bar no matter what, unless I dip well under half sanity. That would really suck. But you can see I am kind of creeping closer and closer there. I use my Blessing of Freedom to give myself a little bit more mobility as he's coming out and trying to hit me with those swirls. I take him out. Gift procs as was expected. Unfortunately, it really would have been nice if it didn't proc until I got all the way over to the trade district, but well, it is what it is. So off I go. 2 orbs left. Full sanity bar. Gift is running in 1 and gone. So here we go. Let's get this thing started. No need to pop a kebab. Off we go. So I move in, immediately stun the appendage so I can position myself quickly as opposed to hitting it from range and signaling it to do its little burrow and then come up again. As melee, it's a huge pain in the butt because he's all constant, because he like basically if I get hit, I'm gonna spawn a poop puddle, and then I need to move it, and then the tentacle will disappear again. It's that sort of thing. So anyway, I'm doing kind of a big pull over here because I have some cooldowns available. I grabbed a couple of those big guys, and I grabbed the 2 tentacles here and time it so that when they come out, I unleash Purification Protocol on them and hopefully kill them. Unfortunately, they don't. But I just try to unload as much damage as I can. Somehow, I believe in this one, I pulled like everything. I pulled the guys that are in the little alcove where the other cages are meant to be. At any rate, I'm clearing these guys out with relative ease. And then I'm over here, I'm like, oh, okay, they're gone. I guess I did pull them. The unfortunate thing about this, though, is that since I just had gift proc, I have no recourse for the abilities that this upcoming elite has for me. Of course, I can bubble it, I can interrupt one of the casts, not a big deal. Please don't aggro that thing. And but I don't have a lot of tricks, unfortunately. So I know that I'm going to have to eat it. There aren't really any other options for me to be like, okay, maybe I'll go ahead and kill these mobs over here ahead of time, and then I'll backtrack. That's not going to happen. So for the most part, it's just like, okay, here we go. And something that I could possibly measure or maybe think about is, okay, which is better? Should I wait another 45 seconds or so to fight this guy and then kill some mobs and hope that gift procs, or just go for it like I am right now? So I try to take care of the sanity as best as I can. I do have bubble available, but it just came off cooldown and I want to try to save it. Unfortunately, it's just wearing away at my sanity and I'm not killing this guy as fast as I want to. So you can see my sanity just getting tanked right now. The Figment's coming out. He's just about to go down, which will bring my sanity back up. There's Gift, so I'm going to just bolt and take off, start fighting the next elite. And so the game here is to simply try and take him out before my sanity dips a little bit too low. That way I can come out of this with a fairly full sanity bar, and yay. Because like I said, what matters most is, how you leave this area and not what's happening in between. Everything that happens in between is just a detail, right? So I'm at 2/3 sanity right now. I run Purification Protocol to try to get some extra damage in. I try to keep this guy inside of the beam area. So I'm able to get some extra damage in. Unfortunately, it doesn't one-shot the guy. Poor me, but that's kind of expected. So now I'm just trying my best to try to maneuver myself just well enough so that way once the chains disappears, I can immediately engage because time's a ticking. I am just about to get, okay, cool. So I happen to come away with a full sanity bar after taking care of this. And I think it's here that I run into a vial finally. So we'll see if I remember correctly. Blue vials, I believe, are what I'm looking for here. So of course I start to clear this, I start to clear everything out. All the mobs are dead. Thankfully. I've had earlier runs where I think I missed like the big guy that hangs out around here, and I was like, oh, that's very strange. That's something I've never done before. But off I go. We'll keep proceeding. Crack open this cage, and then there's 3 more to take care of. So you can see how quickly, even now, my sanity is like just kind of dipping like bit by bit. Even these corrupted areas take their toll after a little while. All right, so for the last cage, here we go. And now, after a bit of a hiccup there, now off we go. But here we go. Yeah, here was the one orb, the one vial that I was able to find. Boop. So it brings me back to near full sanity. And again, you want to make sure that when you are going to drink up a vial, that you have enough room, that you have the sanity to get back. Otherwise, then it's kind of wasted, and you might as well do something else in the meantime. So here we are. I'm gonna slowly make my way through and fight this eyeball down. And I have my little tentacle to help me out. Thank you very much. Gift happens to proc, which I usually don't want it to proc in this stage, because now I need to wait about a minute in order to wait for the next one to come up, and then I can engage the blob elite. But in this case, I run in. Divine Storm does a decent enough job to shrink those tumors small enough so that way I don't have to worry about them. But of course, I need to make my climb up here first by tapping that tentacle, and then I start trying to slowly clear my way through while doing some damage to the tentacle. But of course, there's the Haunting Shadows, got to get away from that, and of course the Burn Bridge, because I'm walking backwards onto my own poop. So just got to be careful. There are lots of little mistakes that end up wearing you out. So that tentacle's a little bit far away. I can't really get to him, so I'm like, okay, I'll just hit this guy. I'll try to get past this guy. I know the tentacles are going to keep chasing me, and it's coming pretty close to a minute before Gift goes off. And I want to be able to use this time efficiently once the Gift does go. So at least in my head, I believe that Gift is going to be available. So I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and take these guys out. Of course, I'll take care of this big dude that cast the Void Buffet, because that's going to be huge problems if I just let that thing go. And the kind of HP levels that we're working with here and DPS levels, like, it gets really, really deadly. You can see my HP is just dipping down, and Goulash is just not quite doing enough to keep my butt alive. But the most important thing is to take care of that so I don't have to worry about the debuff. And I'll proceed to take care of this guy that's doing a bit of the shadow damage on me. There's the Figment. Things are getting kind of tight here, and I really want Gift to proc, so that way I can engage the elite, but it's still not happening. So now I got a Figment to take care of. Go me. And now the Gift. So here we go. Pop whatever I've got available, unload on this guy in the time that I have. There goes Purification Protocol, and there I was kind of stuck on that lamppost for a little bit, because the damage that I take from this guy is still pretty extreme. Like there's still a very high chance of dying, even with gift going off, that I might like screw up. And there we go, down it goes with a almost full sanity bar. I'm looking pretty good. I'm at about 4/5, and things are looking kind of up. I still have 2 orbs and my extra life. And now for this pack, which has been kind of troublesome for me too, because of the double fears on top of the void buffet. You can see my HP is dipping lower and lower, and I think I've debuffs behind my vision UI over there. So I think I let another stack of void buffet go off. Yeah, so I think I have 2 stacks going. So now I'm looking okay on life right now. Just gotta take care of this guy, who shouldn't be a big deal by himself. So there we go. Another void buffet. I'm just kind of letting this guy leak, which is very, very not good. Terrible, in fact. But I'm still okay. You know, I'll go ahead and take on this pack. I open up with Purification Protocol right away, so I can immediately get that damage in. Because I gotta go. I gotta move on. I'm only at half or so sanity now. Gift happens to proc, which is okay. You know, it's not exactly the most opportune time or the most useful time, but hey, whatever stops the clock and whatever keeps the gift going. So that way I can have it available at the next moment. Hopefully at a good time. And I can't stress just how important it is to have good gift procs going off almost right after the internal cooldown is complete. So off we go to the next to the last portal. I grab this guy and I try to avoid some of the casts by just kind of dodging the side here, because I'm going for this guy as opposed to going for the elemental. So I try to dodge to the side here and there. And now it's just me and this guy, me versus Void Buffet. And I'm just gonna try to wear this guy down, take him out. So the idea is for me to get to Alleria with my extra life available, as well as a full sanity bar, or to have an orb available so I can pop it. And I'm really trying to maximize as much as I can here, but I know that I'm going to have to use an orb for the next elite, unfortunately. It really sucks. So I'm trying to use it, and I can't because behind me, hello, hi guys. So just got to take him out, which definitely tells me, okay, yep, I'm definitely going to have to use my orb here because my gift just went off a little bit ago. I just won't have the time, so I'm just going to hang out just for a bit. You saw me shaking my head there. I'm like, I'm not happy with this. Don't like it. But sanity bar is full. I start to pull, try to open up. I'm saving my Purification Protocol for when he starts spawning ads, and then I'll go ahead and take him out there. I'm able to successfully position Rain of Fire in such a way that, yeah, cool, I'm able to keep hitting them. There are the ads, and there goes Purification Protocol. The boss gets a little bit closer. Gif happens to proc. Go me. But I'm still staying on the outside because I have no idea how hard that thing hurts, and I really don't want to know. Of course, there is the eyeball for me to avoid as well, and then there goes the fear. Managed to avoid that. I take out the elite, and then off I go. Deep breath. One orb left. Full sanity bar. No ads in the way so far, and we're looking okay. We're looking kind of okay. But now I need to deal with Umbric, with Leaden Foot as a Ret Paladin. I don't have Divine Shield available, so there are going to be attacks that I just am going to have to eat. I'm just gonna have to take it. I should have used a kebab. I should have eaten the kebab right here, but I did not, and that will prove to be a mistake here. So take care of missiles. He managed to get one hit off, which was a bad misjudgment for me. The poly is something that I just can't do anything about, so I'm just gonna have to suck it up and take it. Unfortunately, I'm getting sanity hits at the time while I have Leaden Foot, but I can't use my freedom because I want to get to the other side. And here we go to the other side. My trinket didn't proc, unfortunately. Trinket happens to proc a pet. The pet will interrupt his cast. He does his polymorph, but not before I do my purification protocol. So I'm taking more and more sanity hits. You can see it just I'm just taking a dump on my sanity. It's awful. It's terrible. He gets more entropic missiles out because I can barely interrupt it in time. So I'm just trying to wail on him as much as I can, and I was like, okay, that's right. I still have to go to the other side. He gets another polymorph out, followed by the fear, and that just tanks more of my sanity. I pop my freedom, use my horsey, try to avoid these things as best as I can because I take huge sanity hits if I get hit by these. Entropic missiles, I managed to interrupt right away, and now it's just a matter of, okay, can I do the damage? Can I get through? Can I avoid that fear? Please avoid the fear. Good. But my sanity is getting lower and lower. I'm hoping for some crits, some nice big hits, and unfortunately, well, I didn't even use my Avenging Wrath, which I really should have, because there we go. If I had used my Avenging Wrath earlier, I probably would have dropped this guy before using my extra life. So now, this is it. I'm pretty much going to have 1 life for Alleria. Great. For a ranged character, it doesn't seem like it would be like that big of a deal. So now I need to kind of like think of the strategies. So I have like a full sanity bar. I have nothing to do with it really. I have 1 orb left, which I'm going to use. And I had just used, I don't recall if gift had went off. I think it did go off. So I take a break. This is kind of like that moment where I gotta compose myself and strategize. The plan here is going to be, I'm going to wait for my pots to be off cooldown. I can't wait too long for Divine Shield. It's gonna be a little bit too long. I mean, to be honest, I probably could have waited a little bit longer if I really wanted to. And that probably would have been the better call. So I'm going to run in and start the RP that will get Alleria to spawn. You just got to take a quick lap around here, and then make your way back out, and then you're good to go. So the idea is to use an orb, get all my sanity back, grab those mobs over there, and hope to goodness that these mobs will proc gift. And that's going to be what kind of saves me. If that happens, right? If that happens. So I think in hindsight, yeah, I definitely should have waited a little bit longer. Hell, I should have waited till like the last minute to use my orb. So that way, even if, so that way I would have a lot more control. Even if the Figment were to come out, and even if the Figment were to proc gift, I think I still would have had the time to wait. But not too much longer. Like, I would run into like a big problem if, I would have gift proc, but I wouldn't have time to wait and engage. So in this case, I pop the orb, I grab the mobs, I run in, and this is it. Everything I've got. Avenging Wrath, drums, pot, and thank goodness for that tentacle. So I open up pretty big. Purification protocol's going. I'm not immune to anything right now, so I'm trying to focus a little bit on doing like some single target damage, not so much on the AoE or like, trying to not use my free Divine Storms or anything like that, or at least not too many of them, so that way I can get gift to proc like a little bit later, or at least at a time that is of my choosing, which is, I know, is like really tough. So there's the gift. I go in, I'm like, all right, let me get some damage in on her. I can just stand in stuff, not a big deal. And I'm just trying to unload as much DPS as I can on here. I'm looking at like my holy power generation and my usage right now, and it's looking terrible, but oh well. So gift has just worn off. I take a little bit of a sanity hit by that pool, which is a big bummer. So I'm trying to, I managed to like kind of cut through, use my Divine Steed and interrupt that polymorph, so that way I can get just a little bit more damage in. But now for chains, I happen to drop another purification protocol right when she drops the chain, so she's going to take a little bit more damage there. But now I got to move out, and now she's doing her little, that AoE thingamajigger, hide behind the pillar, whatever. I'm even getting frantic just doing commentary on this. So I'm trying to avoid all this stuff. I managed to take care of kicking the poly But now I gotta deal with getting out of the explosions, and I made mistakes earlier. I got Alleria down like really low in a previous run, and I tried kicking those darn explosion things, and it just didn't work out. I just didn't have the proficiency to, do everything that I'm doing and click those things. So there's the Figment right over there. Yay, whoop-de-doo. There's some more explosions over there. Now I got to take care of the Figment, and hopefully I can get this Figment to proc another gift. But I'm running through. I took a couple of bad sanity hits there because I'm trying to run through the fire, which is, at this point, I'm just kind of panicking. I'm trying to get anything that I can in. Unfortunately, I didn't get a gift over there, but I do drop another Purification Protocol as she's doing a Void Eruption. So a little bit more damage is going out. Bubble is almost off cooldown. Avenging Wrath is off cooldown, but I want to try and get like some good hits in. I managed to, kick that really quick. She comes over. It's just a crazy, crazy fight. Yeah, I don't even know what to say at this point. I'm gonna run behind another pillar. Now I have Divine Shield and Avenging Wrath available. I'm just looking for a good time to use it. I run in, start popping stuff. Avenging Wrath goes, Divine Shield goes. I want to get a couple more hits in. I know that this stuff is going to explode in just a little bit, but I can't take any sanity damage at this point. Anything would like just ruin me. So here I'm just hiding behind this pillar, hiding for dear life. Alleria is really low. She's at 5%. I see the gift in the corner of my eye. There it is. There's the Figment. I'm like, okay, I gotta hide behind the pillar. Just get out of the way of the swirly. Hit it. Gift. Oh my god. So here we go. This is it. Pop that Purification Protocol. And down she goes. Pretty emotional. Yeah, just watching this, I was like, oh man. This was so much fun. This was so fulfilling. And yeah, I don't even have the words at this point. It was just such an intense fight and a hell of a journey. Where I had to learn how to be a Ret Paladin for the first time in this expansion. And yeah, not something that I easily got accustomed to. And even now, I'm still not quite on top of it, but I think I did all right. I think I did okay. So I'm going to skip here and get right to the loot. All right, so now it's the moment of truth. The final piece of loot from this second and final Mad World achievement. Please be good. Please, oh, please be good. And what do we get? We get gloves that give me a haste proc. It's not bad, it's all right. It's not the best, but, well, who cares? I did it. I got Mad World again on a 445 to an end. I know that there are tons of skilled players out there, really skilled players that can do better, that can do more with less and all that, but I'm going to pat myself on the back for this one. I think that in this case, I was able to come out and be a little bit more than normal. I was able to kind of break that mold, and I'm proud of that. So for those of you who have watched some of these, or many of these, or those who had watched the stream and just watched me go on this 2-month-long journey with all these characters, thanks. It was a trip. It was a total trip, and I'm coming out of this very pleased with this feature as a whole. I know it's not perfect. I know it's not for everybody. But for me, it worked out. It was beyond my expectations. So thanks to Blizzard for putting out something cool and fun for me to use to discover just what else is out there in WoW. So I'm going to head out. You guys and girls and everyone, have a good one. We'll see you for the next thing that I do, whatever that is. So please don't forget to subscribe for more of this and all things Warcraft. See you later. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.